Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we continue reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18, the perfection of renunciation, and text 71. Sradavam anasuyascha sinuvad api yonara sopi mukta subalokan prapnuyat punya karmana. Sradavang anusuyascha sinuyad apiyo nara sopi mukta subalokan prapnuyat punya karmana. Sradavang anasuyascha sinuyad apiyo nara sopi mukta subalokan prapnuyat punya karmana. Sradavang anasuyascha sinuyad apiyo nara sopi mukta sabalokan prapnuyat karmana. Sradavang anasuyascha sopi mukta sabalokan Mataji. Word for word meaning. Sradavan, faithful. Anasuya, not envious. Cha, and. Srinuyat, thus here. Api, certainly. Yaha, who. Naraha, a man. Saha, he. Api, also. Muktaha, being liberated. Shubhan, the auspicious. Lokan, planets. Prapnuyat, he attains. Punyakarmanam, of the pious. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. So everybody please repeat. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. Purport. In the 67th verse of this chapter, the Lord explicitly forbade the Gita's being spoken to those who are envious of the Lord. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is for the devotees only. But it so happens that sometimes a devotee of the Lord will hold open class, and in that class, not all the students are expected to be devotees. Why do such persons hold open class? It is explained here that although not everyone is a devotee, still there are many men who are not envious of Krishna. They have faith in Him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If such persons hear from a bona fide devotee about the Lord, the result is that they become at once free from all sinful reactions, and after that attain to the planetary system where all righteous persons are situated. Therefore, simply by hearing Bhagavad Gita, even a person who does not try to be a pure devotee attains the result of righteous activities. Thus, a pure devotee of the Lord gives everyone a chance to become free from all sinful reactions and to become a devotee of the Lord. Generally, those who are free from sinful reactions, those who are righteous, very easily take to Krishna consciousness. The word punya karmanam is very significant here. This refers to the performance of great sacrifices like the H.H.B.A.Yagna mentioned in the Vedic literature. Those who are righteous in performing devotional service but who are not pure can attain the planetary system of the pole star or Dhruvaloka, where Dhruva Maharaj is presiding. He is a great devotee of the Lord, and he has a special planet, which is called the pole star. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurudmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Garijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kipasindubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Stradavam anasuyascha, sinuyad apiyo nara, shopi mukta shubhalokam, prapnuyat punya karmanam. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. So here, the result of one who hears this message of the Bhagavad Gita is being given by the Supreme Lord. Hearing is very important. It is very essential if one wants to make progress in Krishna consciousness. But one has to hear or listen in a proper state of consciousness or with a pure intention. Otherwise, it will not give the desired result. The desired result, why we hear and chant the holy name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord, is to become purified and ultimately attain love of God. So, this is not going to happen if one, especially as pointed out here, has envy. Because if one is envious, then he cannot become free from the sinful reactions and attains the auspicious planets where the pious dwell, even though he repeatedly hear again and again for many lifetimes the message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or anything that has to do with the Supreme Absolute Truth. The materialists, they are envious of each other. Srila Prabhupada mentions one time that everyone is envious of each other in this material world. Envy is a result if one sees somebody who is excel in some kind of opulence or quality that he does not have and he wants to acquire. So he becomes envious of that person. Materialists, they are envious of devotees also as well, because they see devotees are happy. They are unhappy, so when they see those who are happy, especially the devotees, then they become envious. Now, devotees are not supposed to be envious of each other. But sometimes, devotees may become envious of another devotee. Especially those devotees who are making so much progress, they are the center of being focus of others to be envious. Because they don't want others to become advanced, especially those neophyte or materialistic devotees. They may say, "Oh, how come he's always speaking of Krishna? How come he's always doing so much service?" But the person who's asking this question, he doesn't want to speak about Krishna. He's always in Prajalpa, or he may not want to do service, lazy. So, in spite of hearing again and again and again the subject matter about the Supreme Lord, His pastimes, His fame, His qualities, the purification doesn't happen. We've heard that everything can be dovetailed in Krishna consciousness: lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, except envy or jealousy. We've heard that this is the reason why we are in this material world still. If one is envious of a devotee, that means he's envious of Krishna. If one is angry of another devotee, that means also he's angry of Krishna. Prabhupada was in a morning walk or a conversation, and the devotee was asking this: is it true that if a devotee is envious, that means he's envious of Krishna? Prabhupada says yes. Everything comes first from Krishna. Whatever qualities we may have, all the good qualities and all those who are having these unwanted qualities. So the Gita is being spoken to those who are having faith. Especially, that's why Bhagavad Gita was told to Arjuna by the Supreme Lord. He says, I am speaking you this Bhagavad Gita because you're my dear friend and you're not envious. You're dear to me. You're a devotee. A devotee is not supposed to be envious. So sometimes we may speak to a group of people, especially if we go for the new ones, and devotees take the risk because not everyone is free from envy. But Prabhupada mentions here in the purport that still there are many men who are not envious of Krishna. Maybe one or two. So somehow or other, others who are not envious of Krishna, they'll be given a chance to become purified and have their consciousness become free. That's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that it is not very effective to preach to a large group of people. It is more effective to speak one-on-one or person to person, because you're not be able to really treat the disease of the person. Everyone has disease in this material world. All of us. Different degree. Different intensity. And here in Vrindavan, you've seen many billboards. Katha here, katha there, katha everywhere, practically every day. 365 days in a year. And some are genuine, but many are there just because it is a profession for them to do katha. This is what you call the professional kathakars. They cannot do katha without music, without, flute or whatever, harmonium. And when they speak, they're very, very sweet, very, you really enjoy it. But because the effect of those who hear from a speaker who has still so many material desires in their hearts, then the result is that the opposite. Instead of becoming purified and have their heart cleansed from all the unwanted desires, then during the katha, they're just like becoming like a performance. It's like an opera. But then it doesn't really purify the consciousness or the heart of the listener, and which means that when they go home, nothing happens. Instead of increasing their faith on the Supreme Lord or through his devotees, then it increases their material desires. So it is very important, because that's why we have temples all over the world. Srila Prabhupada painstakingly established many temples all over the world, and same with his devotees or his disciples. This is meant in order to preach the glories, the name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So those of us, this is our duty. The duty of every devotee in ISKCON is meant to preach, to tell others that, my dear sir, you are going in the wrong direction. This is the way to go. This way. This is the way how you can go back to Godhead and how you can be happy in this life and in the next. Unfortunately, you're going in that direction where you're just wanting to go run after miseries of life and take the chance of having repeated birth and death in different species of life. So my dear sir, please allow me to introduce you the way how to do it. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that in order to preach, one must be determined and also free from envy. If you are envious, you cannot preach. One must be compassionate as well. One must be free from material desires. Determination means, Prabhupada says, becoming free from sexual life or sex life. Becoming free from attraction from the opposite sex. Or completely giving up or trying to give it up. Because one cannot be determined if he is full of these desires, unwanted desires, especially the desire towards the opposite sex. One, Prabhupada says, must follow himself a strict life, following the rules and regulations. You walk your talk, so to speak. You have to set an example yourself, and in this way, others will follow accordingly. We've heard that story of Kaviraj, where there was a child who is very naughty, is very hyper, and the mother brought the child to the doctor, and the doctor or the Kaviraj says, please come back after 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks, the mother came back with a child who is very hyper, running back and forth, very fast, here and there. So what is the cure? What is the treatment for my dear son? I want him to be peaceful. He should not eat sugar. Why you did not tell me this 2 weeks ago? Why we have to come back after 2 weeks and this is only what you're gonna say? Because I was eating sugar also at that time. So I better not eat in order for me to tell you not to eat. So similarly, our movement is meant for purifying the humanity at large. So we have to live a very pure lifestyle and follow the things chalked out by the previous acharyas in order to be effective in what we're going to say to others, in order to convince them. One time, Srila Prabhupada asked his GBC men, so are you now convinced of this process? No one able to say yes or reply to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, if you're not convinced of this process, Krishna consciousness, how can you convince others? So it is utmost important. We are a preaching movement. We're giving everyone opportunity to take up this process of Krishna consciousness. We have the books, Srila Prabhupada's books. Books are the basis. Utility is the principle. And what? Purity is the force. So in order for us to be effective for others, and Srila Prabhupada, because of his purity, even though he speaks for like thousands and thousands and thousands of people, he gave them an impact that even after many years, after seeing devotees, they remember Srila Prabhupada and his words. We were on a morning walk in San Jose, and there was this elderly lady. She was European, but she moved to New York, and she said she remembered Prabhupada. I remember your teacher, and she even mentioned the name of Prabhupada, and she remembered the prasadam, and she remembered the book that she received, the Bhagavad Gita, from a devotee. So, in this way, they become at once free from all sinful reactions. If somehow they hear from a bona fide devotee. But it's very rare to find a pure devotee. Krishna coming to the material world is very rare, only once in a day of Lord Brahma. A devotee is very rare also, a pure devotee. We are practicing devotees, we are sadhakas. However, since we're in the right path, we have to be patient. We have to be determined, because we know that somehow or other, by Krishna's mercy and the Vaishnava's mercy, someday we will reach the desired goal. We know what is going to be the result of our activities, because we are experiencing it right now up to a certain degree. It may not be all the time, because our moods are like seesaw, go up and down. A pure devotional service means always going up and up. The happiness that one derives from performing devotional service is always increasing all the time. The intensity, the enthusiasm, the inspiration that one receives from the activities that one performs to serve the Supreme Lord or His devotees become like an inspiration for one to continue on and on and on. It is not that one day you're not in a good mood, and the next day you're very joyfully, very enthusiastic, and then the next day you're trying to find faults from everybody, and goes on and on. So a pure devotee of the Lord gives everyone a chance to become free from all sinful reactions and to become a devotee himself. This is the mercy of a devotee. Devotees of the Lord are very rare. Bhakta, Bhagavan, and Bhakti is very rare. Bhakti, pure devotional service, is very rare. Those who perform Bhakti without any desire for one's fame, for one's adoration, for one's material opulence, or fulfilling one's desires, own desires, very rare. If we're going to have a desire, our desire is only wanted to serve the Supreme Lord without any motivation. And that is very rare in this world. If you can find one like that person, take shelter of that person and serve that person. It is very rare. We have many in our movement. Our movement is meant to make pure devotees, and others are already pure, even in this lifetime. They don't have to wait to go back home, back to Godhead. They're ready in the spiritual world because of their enthusiasm and their consciousness to always do service for the pleasure of the Lord and His devotees. And this reflects towards others as well, that he also helped as many conditioned souls to go back home, back to Godhead, to take with him, along with him. It's not that he only wants to go back home, back to Godhead. Of course, this is a very mature stage. In the beginning, we want to go back home, back to Godhead. That is our purpose. But then when one becomes more mature, he wants to take along as many as possible with him to go back home, back to Godhead. Because of his purity, he's able to do this. So generally, those who are free from sinful reactions, those who are righteous, are very easily to take to Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada says that why we took up to Krishna consciousness is because we are given this fortune by His divine grace Himself. We didn't get any punya. We probably did a little bit, because it says also that spiritual life is a continuation from one's previous life. But somehow or other, the spiritual master is the one who rekindled once again the spark and fanning that to become a big fire. So the temples are like that as well. There should be always a fire, especially of the chanting of the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're giving everyone a chance, especially when they come to our temple here at Krishna Balaram Mandir. Sometimes we see people who are first-timers in the temple. Sometimes they just like with awe and reverence, and they feel so much happiness seeing the deities and hearing the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And as much as possible, we give them Srila Prabhupada's books. So we give them a chance. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, this fire of Sankirtan in all of our temples or all of our mats should be always lit up. It's like in Radharaman temple, they have this fire that's been lit up for the last 500 years that they use for cooking. So similarly, if our temples all over the world are like that, there's always hearing and chanting, there's always Krishna Katha, there's always sumptuous prasadam, then people will be so much eager to take part and also engage in this Sankirtan Yagya. So this word punya karmana is very significant here. Punya karmana means pious activities. So this refers to the performance of great sacrifices. So we must have performed, but the best of all sacrifices is this chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And in this way, we just need to become, as we mentioned earlier, become determined. This is like when they built this Brooklyn Bridge. No one can believe how a bridge can be connected from New York and Brooklyn. Anyone who's been to New York, this is a very long bridge and it's a very big bridge. So this John Browning, he was being criticized, he's being ridiculed, he's being joked, this is not possible, this is not possible, it's not possible to do this. So he's a very good engineer, and he drew a plan how to do this. But somehow during the construction, he got into an accident. He almost died, and he became practically paralyzed. But his brain is still working, and he still be able to move his hands, his fingers. So his young son, who is also an architect, he told him This is the way to do, one by one, step by step, the procedure how to do it. Not by speaking, but he was determined to prove that actually this is possible to build the bridge. So just by fingers, he's able to instruct the son how to do this. And lo and behold, it was constructed. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada instructed us how to make this program of Krishna consciousness become successful. We just have to have patience, we have to have determined, we have to follow it in toto. Not just, I just want this, I don't like the other one. Because sometimes Prabhupada will say many things and it's too much. No, everything. It's like Prabhupada says, half of my work is unfinished because Varnashram has to be established. And some devotees says, oh, there is no need for this. Some devotees, yes, we must do this. So it's like being divided how to do it. If Prabhupada says it has to be done, it should be done. And we're very fortunate for the next 10,000 years, we have very dedicated devotees, even right now, who would like to prepare us for that coming many years. They're making many resolutions, bylaws, how if we follow this with faith, with sincerity, it will lead us to the right direction and will give us love of God and help others also to continue in their devotional service. So one must be patient. We may not be able to see immediately the result, just like a couple who just got wed today and they want a new child tomorrow. It's not possible. We have to wait. By constant practice, by being detached with the material desires, with material objects, with the sense objects, then one gradually will become successful and be happy in this practice of Krishna consciousness. One will become very effective in preaching and will also ultimately help others on their march going back home, back to Godhead. So this is the result of this verse. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
As per scriptures, everything comes from Krishna. This enviousness also comes from Krishna. Then how to use, and we should use everything is to serve Krishna. How to use enviousness in the service of Krishna?
But you can become free from envy if you are in this serving mood. That is we are envious of Krishna. So how to develop love of God? We serve Krishna and His devotees. This is the way. It may not into our liking because we know that person is better than me. So let me serve that person. And in this way, I'll get benefit. I got some blessings from that person. So the opposite of envy is love. So how do you develop love? By service. Everything is there. Everything is from Krishna. But this envy is not present in the spiritual world at the same time. No one is envious there. But somehow or other, we are here in this material world due to envy of Krishna. And still remaining in this material world due to enviousness of Krishna. And we will remain here in this material world because we want to enjoy like Krishna. And it is not possible to enjoy like Krishna because He is the supreme enjoyer. We can only enjoy when we serve Him. But we don't want to serve Him. We want to serve ourselves. So the envious mentality continues. We want to enjoy separately from Krishna. That means being envious of Krishna. Position. Serve the devotees. If you don't like a devotee, be close to that devotee and try to serve that devotee. That is very difficult, but this is the cure. If you don't like someone, be close to that person as much as possible. Because the more you become far away from that person, then the more your envious mentality increase. So how do you become close? You can only be close to that person if you become his friend. Try to please that person. Give him prasad. Ask him how, is there anything I can do? Or try to reveal your mind to that person, which is very difficult to do. But that is the cure for that one. Hold on. Just this one first. Just Haribol. Don't, the mic is still here.
So the all the qualities in spiritual world as Parvata reflects in
The material world, yes.
So envy is a Parvata reflection of love.
Yeah, envy is the opposite of love. Envy is considered as iron and love is gold. Both are metal. But enviousness is unwanted. The most unwanted thing that we have to give up.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for a nice talk. I have to ask a silly question.
We're all silly here, no problem.
Maharaj, how much of prajalpa, not gossip, is allowed in Krishna consciousness?
Not even one, not even 1%. You know what? The gopis are also in prajalpa, but their prajalpa is talking about Krishna. So that is not really prajalpa. When you talk about Krishna, that is spiritual. When you talk about material things, we have nothing to do with it. The whole world is in prajalpa. They talk about news, they talk about politics, they talk about all the things except Krishna. So if you talk anything besides Krishna, that is prajalpa. Okay, go ahead, mother. Go ahead. You have the microphone.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Since from the beginning of our life, we are not trained up like Vedic system, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa.
Yes.
So now we are discussing about the establishment of Varnashrama system.
Yes.
We are beginning our Krishna conscious at the age of 26, 30 like that.
Right.
How does it apply to us? How do we implement in our life?
By knowing our qualities, our propensities, the qualities that we are good at, where we utilize that propensities in Krishna consciousness. Not everyone is a Brahmana, have Brahminical qualities. Not everyone is an administrative quality. Mostly Sudra qualities or mentalities. So accordingly, we work on that level and at the same time become Krishna conscious. A Sudra can be a pure devotee of the Lord if he is properly situated. If he wants to become an administrator and at the same time wanted to become pure devotee of the Lord, it is not possible. He has to be working under the 3 ashrams or the 3 varnas. So the spiritual master is expert in doing this, trying to situate you according to your physiotherapy, psychology and everything. Everything that He knows how to utilize your qualities in the service of Krishna. Mataji.
Just in relation to the Java question, although the person who asked it is not here.
Okay.
We should understand that we don't become impersonal trying to talk about Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's said that Sanatana Goswami was so dear to everyone.
Right,
Because
right.
He would ask everybody, how is your family? And he would try to give
Mm-hmm.
some help for the children and so many things. And
Mm-hmm.
Prabhupada was also like that. He would see people, good morning, how are
Sure.
you? And
Sure.
he was a very personal person. But his intention was always to bring somebody close to Krishna. So he would assess the situation by
Right.
meeting someone, talking to
Mm-mm-mm.
them, finding out. But his prescription would ultimately take them closer to Krishna.
Good point.
So if our intention is to bring someone to Krishna, then we may appear to be just friendly and light conversation.
Right.
But if the intention is something else, then it becomes pujalpa, then it becomes talk, which is taking us and the other person away from Krishna.
Good. Yeah. It's like so many children, they ask Hare Krishna Maharaj. So I will ask them, how are you? You're chanting? That's a good point. As long as our intention ultimately, but we must be very careful not to get carried away, because especially, it may lead to something else which is undesirable. So one must be very expert in this one also. Of course, when we see each other, as you said, especially those devotees who hasn't seen each other for many years, and then you say, how are you? What are you doing these days? How's your family? So yeah, that's true. Because as a personalistic movement, we're like that. We just say Hare Krishna. That's it. Nothing else. Yes. Turn it off. Okay, we don't have to turn it off.
No?
Yes.
In Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's writings, that according to the status or station of life that you're in, Pujalpa may have a different application. Pujalpa for a sannyasi may not be Pujalpa for a householder. A householder has to relate to his children.
Of course.
Has to help his wife.
Sure.
He has to deal in the outside world. So every moment he may not be able to speak directly about Krishna. This is just, dealing, in necessity in the material world, and he has to fulfill these responsibilities and obligations.
Sure.
But Pujalpa for a sannyasi is something different because of his particular station in life. So it's important to recognize that. Otherwise, we try to impose the same instruction for everyone, and it's just not
Yes.
relevant.
Yeah, it's understood. You understand that? According to different levels of ashram, we relate to them. We're not fanatics. We have to, care also for each other in such a way. But ultimately, we relate with each other and talk with each other ultimately for one's benefit. Because a real friend is one who helps you in Krishna consciousness, ultimately. Not like the materialists, they talk with each other, they flatter each other. But then the opposite is the result. It's not very favorable in the end. Usually those who are so close with each other in the material world, they become the most farthest with each other. But our conversation is in such a way that we should get ourselves become closer and closer with each other in order for us to help make advancement in Krishna consciousness. Yes?
So that just in continuation to what Lakshmana was saying.
Mm-hmm.
There was that famous example in, I guess it was in England. Prabhupada had this conversation with a racing car driver
Mm-hmm.
for about 1 hour just on racing cars.
Mm-mm.
Prabhupada's so knowledgeable. This is just to bring him in
Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that he had some favorable feelings
Yes.
about Krishna consciousness.
Sure.
The other thing about envy, there is a kind of envy in the spiritual world, but that kind of envy is.
This is spiritual competition.
Can I do spiritual competition?
Competition.
Can I do something that's really good? I wonder if I can do something even better than that. It's not like you want to step on somebody's head. There's no agenda involved. So there's no.
Mm-mm.
For example, Prabhupada had this wonderful, interesting exchange. I guess it was with Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Jayatirtha Prabhu were doing book distribution. And the scores would come in. We used to have a Sankirtan newsletter. The scores would come in. And Prabhupada said, oh, if Tamal Krishna Maharaj understands that Jayatirtha is doing better than that,
He'll have a heart
very
attack.
upset.
He'll have a heart attack.
He'll have a heart attack, yeah. And it's said similarly Jayatirtha. So not to be outdone, just the motive was to please Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, to please Krishna is there, but we should not, as you said, not step each other's toes.
Mundane sentimentality and transcendental sentimentality.
If you want to excel in a service that others are doing well, you even actually ask them how to do it, how they're doing it, so that I can make my service also good and very favorable, acceptable to Krishna. So yes, you do that. And usually in the spiritual world, they push each other closer to Krishna. Not that they want to become closer to Krishna and others will behind you. So in the spiritual world, it doesn't matter. You may be the last, but in Krishna's eyes, you were the first. Here, in the material world, everyone wants to become numero uno. No one wants to become number 2. For the devotees, we want to become number 1 also in the eyes of Krishna, but not at the expense of others. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, I have a question. I may feel I am not envious to somebody, but it could be because of condescending attitude of mine. So how do I distinguish that I am genuinely not envious, not because that I am condescending towards somebody?
Give an example.
Normally I know it's people who are not up to, in my mind, who are not up to my level, either financially or socially or knowledge-wise or whatever. I don't feel any kind of competition or envy.
But you feel superior than them?
But that's what I want to know.
Do you feel superior than them?
In my mind, I'm thinking I'm not feeling superior, but I feel it's something subtle there that.
What's subtle?
That I am not able to see that I am condescending. That's what I'm trying to ask. Is it possible I may not realize that I am condescending towards others? How to figure it out?
It's possible. I think the proper attitude of devotee is to see everyone equally and respect them according to their status, but also see everyone as a servant of Krishna. Even the worst devotee is the best than the best materialist. It's better than the best materialist, even the worst devotee. And the best materialist is the worst compared to the worst devotee. So you see everyone in equal vision. Knowingly Paramatma is there and they're all trying as much as possible to serve Krishna. Do you understand? Yeah, well, this is Vidya Binaya Sampane Brahmane Gavi Hastini Suni Chaiva Sapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. Be a real learned person. Try to understand the message of the Bhagavad Gita. See everyone in the eye of the scripture. On your own, you're full of faults, you're very you're full of defects, we all have all the negative things. If you try to understand that, then you will treat everyone equally. You will see everyone as a devotee. But if as soon as you see that you're superior, then false ego is there, envy is there, and all the unwanted qualities will be there. See always yourself as low. Lower than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, devoid of sense of false prestige. Then in this way you'll be able to give respect to others. It doesn't matter what position they are, even to an ant.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Lakshmi Moni Mataji. Okay, this is the last one.
You were saying about being number one.
Yes.
That fortunately, in our relationship with Krishna, he has the capacity to have everyone be number one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's many number ones.
Yes.
We can't really compute that because in the material world, there's only one number one.
And 1 + 1 = 1.
Yeah. So if you're fighting to become number one, everybody else has to be number two, number three, number four, number five.
Mm-hmm.
But in relation to Krishna, they can be so
Equal.
many numbers one.
Yes.
Prabhupada was here. He said in the mind, in the service to Krishna, he sees that the person who is washing the black and white marble floor is just as
Same
good
as
as the person who's taking care of the black and white marble Radhe Shama.
Right.
So in our eyes, that's what does that mean? But Krishna just sees the service, and everyone can do service, and he appreciates everybody's service as perfect service if the love is there. He doesn't judge. And then everyone can be number one. So therefore, we don't have to put other people down. That's the difference between the material world. You have to put everybody down.
Yes. Ultimately, bhakti means what is our intention, why we do what we're doing. So, irregardless of one's service, one's want to offer to the Supreme Lord, what is the main ingredient is the intention, the motive behind this. Okay? You may want to become the number one book distributor. That is fine, but still, it's better just, distribute as much as you like. But in any case, bhakti means what is our intention behind what we're doing for the service of the Lord and His devotees. So everyone is equal in the eyes of the Supreme Lord, who is doing service for His pleasure. Okay? Thank you very much for the opportunity. Hare Krishna.